every metropolitan or even the smaller cities at entry points or even at the exit points. For last few years, under Swachh Bharat mission, India has drawn its attention to this issue and started resolving this issue. There are so many examples which started from the city of Indore. We try to replicate that in our campus also. Even in the state of Punjab, this example was replicated in Nawashahar, which has been quoted as a case study and as an example. I hope it can be replicated in our city Patiala, and municipal corporation is doing good effort for that. For today's one-day webinar, we are having Dr. Brijesh Kumar Dubey, IIT from IIT Kharagpur. Welcome, Professor. I hope your expertise will help us to resolve those issues further, which are still creating certain problems for us in this mission or in this program. I once again extend welcome to the chief guest, Abhishek Gupta ji, Professor Dubey, Shri Dilip Kumar ji, and Shri Amandeep Sekho. So today's focus of our today's webinar is not only focusing or making aware on the scientific theoretical concepts of solid waste management, rather to put an example which we have tried over last 5 years. The enormous effect which we have generated through our 3 water harvesting pits, which we have created for whole of our campus, had resulted in raising the water bed of in the surrounding 2-kilometer area of our campus. So these are few examples which can be replicated. I'm happy that this effort of the webinar initiated by Dean Faculty, Dr. Ashwini Sharma, and in charge of these activities, Dr. Manish Sharma, has been taken up very positively, and about participants from 15 countries are with us. If possible, at the end, we would like to have interaction with all those persons from other countries, but only if I would be more interested if they can quote certain case studies of how to resolve those issues on solid waste management or environmental degradation which are causing over there. Once again, I'm happy and extend welcome to all our dignitaries, chief guest, and the keynote address, Dr. Dubey, for today's deliberation. Before it is formally started, I would like to quote just one hurdle in our system. If Amandeep Sekho is here, Dr. Amandeep, Shri Amandeep ji, we have to discuss our collection system of the segregated waste, which we will be discussing in private later on. But I think in Patiala city, we have to rethink, say, replan and re-energize this system, which I personally think is not working properly, though the segregation and decomposing, reusing is everything is okay, but the collection for recycling need to focus once again. I hope we will be discussing and we will be able to resolve this problem also. Welcome once again. And I really expect that all the participants, which the number is, I think, going to touch about 1,000, because we have to make it YouTube live. Majority of our faculty member and students are joining on YouTube. And I'm expecting that all those will be contributing to this social cause for environmental concern in their surrounding areas also. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Dr.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite today's chief guest, Shri Abhishek Gupta, Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala, for inaugural address.
First of all, a very warm thank you to all of you. Specifically, I will congratulate Modi College for organizing a wonderful webinar for the most burning issue which we are facing these days, that is solid waste management. I thank Dr. Khushbinder Kumar for inviting us and letting us have an interaction with such a wider audience. And to begin with, if I have to say that the solid waste management, if it can be successful, it can be successful only with the participation of all the people. Municipal Corporation Patiala or any other organization, government organization, limited number of hands are there. But if the people, those who are actually living in any city, to make any city a dream city to live, all the people must participate in this particular activity, that we can manage our waste. If I look upon myself, that the waste which we generate are at our own home, around about 80% of the waste which is there, that is biodegradable. If we try to manage it, it is manageable. We can actually reduce the solid waste if we actually recycle the biodegradable waste. And we don't seek that people should actually uh, when it comes to any successful system, it cannot be made successful only by any organization or government organization. It is a people's participation, citizens participation, which is the most important. When it comes to our efforts, I will throw a little light on the efforts which are being done by the Municipal Corporation Patiala. First of all, there is a dump, big dump there in Patiala, which is near that Choti and Badi Nadi. We are in process to eliminate that whole of the dump, that legacy waste which we have accumulated from last so many years. The project of bioremediation is going on there, and windrows, if anyone is passing by, he or she will himself see that windrows have already been created there. We are trying to process that particular waste which have been created over the last many years. So in coming year or two, we'll be able to eliminate that particular dump. Second, to promote segregation at the source and collection, as Dr. Kushan, like uh, I will say, always there will be issues. We have to progressively keep tap on them. We have to upgrade our systems. We have to again re-energize our people. Once the system establishes, then slowly it will come on autopilot, and then the things will fall in line. But what happens is, when there is a human interface involved, human intensity is that we are like try to reduce our effort. So at times what happens is, the efforts which are need to be done by all the human beings is not that done in a coordinated manner. So we need to push on that, and these kind of webinars are actually very motivating for all the people, that yes, things are happening. If you see that few years back, very few people used to talk about cleanliness, very few people used to talk about swachhta, but today it is a talk of town. People are aware about it. Even my 5-year-old daughter is also aware about it. So things are changing, they are changing very fast. Culture of cleanliness is being developed. Right now the culture is to an extent limited to the home and its surrounding. We need to bring it to the streets also. If we can do our bit, if 4,95,000 people of Patiala city can do their bit, I will say 10 lakh hands, if they are doing their bit, things will fall in place. We have MRF centers wherein we are like segregating the solid this whatever non-biodegradable waste is there, we segregate, then we try to dispose it off scientifically. Then we have the compost pits. 400 plus compost pits are also there in Patiala, wherein we are trying to decompose the biodegradable waste. So efforts are going on, but any and every effort of government, if and only if it is supplemented by the effort of the people, then only it will be successful. And I welcome such kind of initiatives wherein we are increasing the awareness, and we are actually making people understand that they, by doing their bit, that 1 plus 1, if it is counted up to 1,000, it will become 1,000. So that one is the most important part, and we need to focus on that. We need to re-energize every household. We need to tell them that we need to make them aware that they can do their bit. With their bit, we'll make this city cleaner. will make this city greener, and we will be able to make this a city, a dream city to live in. So I'll thank once again Modi College, Dr. Khushwinder Singh and his team that they have organized such a wonderful webinar wherein we are actually addressing this burning issue, and rest of the participants also for joining us. Uh, Thank you very much. We are looking forward to your help as well as assistance so that we can bring Patiala to the level best and make it a clean, green, and a dream city to live in. Thank you very much.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for your encouraging word and useful suggestion to deal with solid waste management in this city. On the behalf of College Management Committee, principal, entire staff, and participants, we are thankful to our chief guest, Shri Abhishek Gupta, Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala, for sparing his valuable time to be amongst us in today's webinar. Thank you, sir. Now I request our organizing secretary, Dr. Manish Sharma, to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Brijesh Kumar Dubey ji. Dr. Manish.
Thank you, sir. I am glad to have opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Brajesh Kumar Dubey. Professor Brajesh Kumar Dubey has his BTech honors in civil engineering from IIT Kharagpur and PhD in environmental engineering sciences from University of Florida, USA. He is presently associate professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Dubey has nearly 20 years of research, teaching, training, and industrial outreach experience. He has co-authored more than 200 publications in his area of expertise and has presented at several national and international conferences. Dr. Dubey has worked as environmental expert for UN agencies, World Bank, and agencies such as National Geographic Society, USA. He has been working with several proposed smart cities in India for the development of integrated waste management systems. He has worked on integrated waste management projects in several countries, including USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, China, and Nigeria, among others. Dr. Dubey has provided courses, including online courses and training programs in the subject area of waste management, resource recovery, environmental risk assessment, circular economy, and sustainable engineering, including online courses in these areas. His latest online course is on plastic waste management. Technology for waste management infrastructure. Now I would like to invite Professor Dubey for keynote address. Over to you, sir. Dr. Dubey.
Thank you, Dr. Manish Sharma. Thank you, Professor Sharma, Principal Sahab, Gupta ji, Abhikesh Gupta ji. And so, welcome. I thank you for inviting me. And I had never been to Patiala. One day I would like to enjoy Sadhu Ram की पुड़िया. बहुत सुना है साधु राम की पुड़ियों के बारे में, खाने का मौका नहीं मिला. हमारा एक दोस्त है एक्चुअली पटियाला से, वो आपके ही कॉलेज का एलुमनाई है. When he saw that flyer, he called me. कह रहे आप तो मेरे कॉलेज में जब टॉक देने जा रहे हो. तो so he is उसकी शादी होगी तो जरूर हम साधु राम की पुड़ियाँ खाएंगे. So he is much younger. So okay. So so I get started. I'll share my screen. Okay, since we have the international audience, so I'll keep mostly talking in English only. Although in between I tried to make some jokes in Hindi, but since there are people from around the world, so I'll just stick with English. So, okay, so the topic, as Dr. Manish mentioned, when I was discussing with Dr. Manish regarding this talk, I came up with this topic, and he said this will be nice to have. So we'll talk about how to select proper treatment technology for waste management infrastructure. So this is based on almost 2 decades of experience working in different places in the world. So I'll try to share my experience with you. And if you have any questions, put it on the chat box or put it on the YouTube. And I think Dr. Manish will probably collate it later for us to go over that. Okay, so whenever we talk about environmental issues, so I always, being a academic, being a professor, I always try to put things in perspective from a big picture. So if you look at humans on Earth, if you just look at the humans, the history of humans on this planet, Earth is around close to 4.6 billion years old. And if you take that 4.6 billion years and put it on a 24-hour scale, we have existed on this planet for only 4 seconds. Why 24 hours? Because there is a 24 hours in a day. So if you think of humans existing on this planet is only for 4 seconds. We have been here only for 4 seconds. So we have been only for 4 seconds that Homo sapiens, the way we are today, have existed on this planet. Now, why I am showing you this figure is in 4 seconds we have used up so much of resources and we have produced so much of waste. Mother Nature has a wonderful system, as in the like previous speakers also kind of relating to that. That there is a we can do composting, we can do a lot of stuff which happens naturally in the nature. But since we have made several types of waste, we have used so much of resources, and many of these waste is man-made. They are anthropogenic. They are not like a natural. So that is creating a lot of problem, and I will try to highlight some of those issues and how to address this issue from present context. I also have some examples from Punjab which I have collected uh, from the different sources on Patiala website, Patiala Municipal Corporation, and other websites. And I'm pretty sure we have engineers from they will talk about that. So I'll not go detail on that. I'll just talk about the big picture and just a little bit of snapshot from there. So one thing is that we have existed on this planet for only 4 seconds. In these 4 seconds, we have used up so much of resources and we have produced so much of waste. And if you realize, we don't, like a Mother Earth does not need us. We need Mother Earth. And that's a very powerful statement if you think in that line. This Earth survived, Earth was thriving before humans came on this planet. Earth will survive and will thrive even when humans are gone from this planet. And we, like as a human, we have so much of ego, that we can do anything, and Mother Nature keeps on showing us from time to time that actually not. Who is the boss? We get to know from time to time as well. So, and we saw that in recent times, we saw that as well with this pandemic going on. We are all indoor and we are just trying to be mostly indoor. Just a tiny virus has really changed the way the world behaves, well, world lives in over last say 7-8 months now. So what I'm trying to say that we have to respect nature. We have to manage this waste properly, because if you don't manage waste properly, it is not only the soil, it's a soil pollution problem, it's a water pollution problem, it's an air pollution problem, and creating a lot of disease, human health impact, environmental impact. So one aspect is this, like in terms of looking at the world, and then other is with increase in population in last 200 years. This is your last 200. This is your global population in millions. This is the time of the year, and as you kind of go up, in last 200 years, the population has skyrocketed. And with huge population means huge demand for resource. Huge demand for resource means huge amount of waste, all sorts of waste, starting from mining waste to manufacturing waste through municipal solid waste and all kind of waste which will be produced. And we are running out of resources. Like you look at that, many places we are looking at sand is not available. Many of the materials are not available. Earlier we used to mine 100 tons to get 1 ton of the material. Today we have to mine close to 1,000 tons to get 1 ton of material. So things are becoming difficult, and things are creating a lot of environmental pressure. So and with more people means more pressure. So there is no other option for us than managing our waste properly and do the resource recovery from waste. Try to do the resource recovery, because we cannot just get the material and from the mother nature use it and just dump it. We have to do the resource recovery. So that's what we'll be talk about. Urbanization. It's not only the population is going up, it's also that population is becoming more and more urban. So earlier we had in say in 1900s, we had 2 out of every 10 people lived in urban area. Now by 2050, that in 2030 that will be 6 out of 10 people, and 2050 there will be 7 out of every 10 people will live in urban areas. So more urbanization, more slum areas, more concentrated pollution population, more demand on of course concentrated pollution too, more demand for resources, more solid waste, more demand for water, more wastewater being produced in that locality. So that creates a lot of additional stress to any city government, which I'm pretty sure our engineers from the municipal corporation will share as well. So it's if you look at that was the global figure. This was the global figure. Now, if you look at the Indian figure also from 2001 to 2011, because every 10 years we do our census. Next census will be 10 years from now, which is 2021. So in terms of in terms of your population, as you can see, many states are moving from one color to another color, and Punjab kind of stays at like we are in Punjab, we are at 30 to 45%, which is in 2001 as well as in 2011. But if you look at the neighboring states of Haryana, which was which was in green zone, which was 15 to 30% urban, has moved from green to blue, which is now 30 to 45% urban. And many of the other states have also changed color. And as the change, as there is a change in color in this area, like in this way, like from yellow to green, green to blue, blue to purple, and then red, it means more and more urban. So more and more urban population, as you can see in this, and this is from the Ministry of Urban Development data. So India is also getting more urbanized, and that creates a lot of waste. Urban areas, more GDP, more increase in GDP, that also creates more waste as the people gets more wealthier. As you can see during this pandemic as well, we produce a lot of online shopping waste. We had Amazon, Flipkart, and all those. They did help us because the shops were closed and all that, but we created a lot of waste from that sector as well. So this is a report which came out nearly 2 years ago, which is on Water Waste 2.0. It's done by World Bank. Some of you may have seen it. It's a global snapshot of solid waste management. The world generates 2.01 billion tons. As Dr. Manish mentioned to me yesterday that we'll have people from around the world. So I thought, why not talk about these this couple of slides here, because that gives a big picture to everybody who is in the audience. So it's a 2 billion tons of waste that is produced annually globally. And the way the things are moving right now, if nothing, if it's business as usual, we are looking at around 3.4 billion tons, around 70% more waste by 2050. So that means lots and lots of waste to be managed. For a solid waste engineer like me, who is trained as like my PhD was on waste management, and I've been working on waste management. In fact, I call myself a garbologist, working with different types of garbage. So like we have psychologists, we have physiologist, I am a garbologist. So I've been working with different types of garbage for last 20 years in different parts of the world. And so for us, it's a job security, isn't it? It's at 3.4 billion tons by 2050, where it's well beyond my retirement age. So I will have lots of jobs, but that's a big problem. Like people, I would like to have these numbers to actually go down as much as possible. That also creates a lot of job for solid waste engineer, because when you talk about circular economy, resource recovery, and producing less waste actually also is a job for waste management engineers, because they have to get involved in product design from the very beginning. So it will not be a end of pipe approach. It will be kind of getting a holistic approach and trying to incorporate that circular economy concepts. Now, if you look at the garbage at any place around the world, these percentages keeps on changing, but you have pretty much, these are the materials which is there: metal, glass, plastic, paper and cardboard, food and grain, and there are some other materials here too. These are the predominantly the major materials if you look at, and these numbers next to it are the global average. Metal 4%, glass 5%, plastic 12%, paper, cardboard 17%, and the food and grain waste 44%, and there are other waste categories too. But individually, if you look at the metal can be recycled, plastics can be recycled, glass can be recycled, paper and cardboard can be recycled, can be resource recovery can be done for them. Food and green waste, you can go for composting, you can go for biomethanation plant. Government is also is looking at CBG, compressed biogas plants. So there are ways to deal with. So if you add them up, you are looking at 5 plus 4 is 9, 12 plus 9 is your 21 plus 17, 38 plus 44. So as uh, uh, as we learned from the from our chief guest was also mentioning that close to 80%. So that's what we have. Close to 80% of the waste can be easily recycled or resource recovery can be done. But, and that's a big but, why it is not happening? Because everything gets mixed up. Unless there is a source segregation in place, where at least we do wet and dry separation, like the one our municipal solid waste management rules also suggests that we have to do wet and dry. So this portion will be our dry waste and this will be the wet waste. And the dry waste can be taken to a material recycling facility in a separate container, or it can have the same truck with multiple compartments. If you mix it together, if you mix the garbage together, there is no technology out there in the world, and I can tell you with a hundred, I can like tell you with a guarantee that people may come to you, like as a municipal corporation and other people, you will have companies coming to you and showing you very beautiful slides and other stuff, but they don't work. And that's what happened in other places in India too. If you have mixed garbage, you cannot really do much with that. You can put a engineered landfill. That's the only thing you can do. Or most of the other technology also does not do much. They show that they are doing, but after 2-3 years they call themselves bankrupt and they disappears, and which has happened in the waste management sector in India last 2 decades. And so we have to be very careful in terms of selection of those technologies, and that's what I'm trying to stress upon today. So these materials can be, has individually they have market. Plastic is 12%. In Indian, we have done samples from several cities in India. As mentioned, that we are trying to work with some of the smart cities and also some other cities as well. And we also found the plastic to be around 10 to 12, 13% in Indian cities too. So it is, and other numbers are slightly over and because it depends. In India, we have the informal sectors, those rack pickers, they take out a lot of these materials away as well. So I wrote this piece almost 3 years ago now, that was January 13, 2018, that for effective waste disposal, segregation is the key. You have to do the source segregation. Otherwise, the technology really does not work very properly. There might be, you will see some benefit, but if you look at the holistic ways, if you do the long-term sustainability of the project, it doesn't work. And you also have to look at the good, like best practices example from around the world. We should not make the same mistake that the other countries did. We should learn from there. And you will find that most of the places, in fact all the places where waste management is working really well, is the place where they have segregation of at least wet and dry done at the household level and collected also separately to those treatment centers or to treatment facilities. So if we don't do anything about it, that report, World Bank report, talks about that in low-income countries, over 90% of the waste is mismanaged, and that will create a lot of problem, which include and will affect poor disproportionately. The 20% waste management cost comprises of 20% of municipal budget, so it's a lot of money goes there, and 1/3 of the solid waste is openly dumped or burned. This is what they had talked about. And so we have to do better. We have no other choice but to do better. So when we talk about this sustainable development and all, sustainable development actually means that meeting the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. We have to do better. We have no other choice. So government also came up with this smart city program almost 5 years ago. And if you look at the smart city program, waste out of the 6 major thematic area identified, one area is on waste management. So 1/6 is focused on waste management. Some proposed smart cities have already working on this area. Many are actually working on other areas now. They have not gone to waste management. At some point of time, they have to come there. See, you cannot have a smart city with just the Wi-Fi or the like having everything online. That's not a smart city. Smart city means clean water, clean air, clean soil. So that the smartest city will be then when I can go in a, say if Patiala becomes a smart city, I would like to have, I can go anywhere in Patiala, open the tap of the public supply water and drink it. That would be the true definition of a smart city. Because Wi-Fi and other stuff, I can spend money and get the Wi-Fi, but the water, if it's not clean, when I look at the railway stations where from the general boggy, a lot of people get down and try to fill their 2 liter used, say Pepsi or Coca-Cola or those bottles with the drinking water, and we don't know about the surety of that drinking water. Although the Wi-Fi is free, but the drinking water is not available. So that's not really smart. Wi-Fi, if I need, I can buy, but I need clean drinking water. If you can, we can pay taxes for that, but we need clean drinking water. That's more important. So in terms of like in solid waste, these are the major components like municipal solid waste, construction, demolition, industrial waste, agricultural waste, and mining. Today, I'll talk mostly about that's why I'm going to focus mostly on municipal solid waste. Agricultural waste, I'll just touch upon because we have come up with something which would be of interest to, especially to people in Punjab and Haryana and Western UP, because it's double burning. So I'll talk about that. So in terms of these are the different sources: municipal waste, vegetative waste, building debris, treatment sludges, mining waste, industrial waste. So these are the different sources from where we get the waste. So what have we have been doing with the waste? We have either been dumping it or burning it, recycling it, or trying to do some waste minimization. These are the 4 basic means of dealing with waste. Uh, Now we have dumping has been changed to engineered landfill, burning has become incineration or waste to energy plant, recycling is still like material recycling facility, waste minimization is you to try to produce less waste at the first place. So if you look at the hierarchy, most favored is the prevention or minimization, least favored is disposal. Unfortunately, what happens is the upside down. We get more waste going to the dump sites, less recycle, less reused, and then finally very less in terms of prevention or minimization. So it's not only in India. It's if you look at the global snapshot, this data is actually slightly older, but things does not change overnight anyway. So you have to just look at the comparative figure. Don't go by the exact value because the numbers have changed a little bit now. But if you look at say European Union, which is one of the best example of waste management or any environmental initiative, they produce a lot of waste because, as I said, more GDP, more the waste being produced, but they are able to recycle close to 43%. They have 422 waste to energy plant, which includes biomethanation and incineration and all those waste to energy plants. And things in bracket is what they have in pipe planned for next 10 years. So whatever numbers you see in the brackets is projected figure for next 10 years. Like they will add another 14 there. But even in European Union, close to 30% of the waste is still going to the landfill. So there is also a room of improvement, mostly in Eastern European countries. If you look at the Western European countries, things are actually much better. It's many Western European countries, this number is less than 10%. And that's what our goal, our goal should be. And we should not think that overnight we'll reach there. For Western European countries, it took nearly 3 decades to reach there. See, these things requires time. It cannot happen overnight. So when we talk about in India that we will have no landfill in India, we can get rid of, we don't require any landfill in India. I have a strong reservation to those thought, because that kind of also gives me an idea that probably the person does not really understand the complexity of the situation. Because if you look at the type of waste we produce, you cannot, we should do recycle, we should do composting, we should do biomethanation, but there will be some waste. Even in Netherlands, Germany or Austria, which have been working for last 30 years on this, where they don't want any landfill. Landfill is a necessary evil. So we will have to live with this sanitary landfill for at least next 10, 15, 20 years. Because there will be residual. There will be residual. In fact, when you do this biomining, I was involved in the Delhi biomining project. We looked at all this data with IIT Delhi. Hardly 30% of the material which is coming out is usable. Rest 70% has to go somewhere. So when we are going this, like I heard that biomining is, I saw that in news as well, the biomining happening in Patiala. So you will be able to use 30%. You will be able to only remove 30%. Rest 70% you can remove from that site, but you have to put somewhere else because that cannot be used. And if you just put it anywhere in the town, in the city, the problem is if they have some heavy metals and other stuff, it may contaminate the lake and the river and other things. So we have to do that environmental risk assessment with that too. We should not do the problem sifting. We should do the problem solving. So if you, we have to look at the holistic view as well, and that's very, very important. So if you look at, so this is the best example. You can, I think the slides are already available. So you probably that will be shared as well. So you can look at, I will not go over other numbers, but let's talk about India. India, as you can see, will have, because of the informal recycling, we don't get that captured. We have now 4 waste to energy plants working in the country, 3 in Delhi, 1 in Jabalpur, and several in pipeline, which is we want to construct. And then many places we have people from Africa here, we have people from like maybe in South America and other places too. So as you can see, good waste management engineer, good solid waste engineers is required everywhere in the world. So there is a lot of job in this area globally, which is available. So we do need to have several training programs or workshops like this to educate people that in terms of what is good waste management, and they should try to learn more about that. So that's the reason whenever I get an invitation to do this lecture, I always accept it, because that's one of my mission. One mission is, when I came back to India 5 years ago, is my mission is to make people aware about this scientific principles of waste management. That's in terms of looking at from a science point of view, as many people as I can. So that's what I've been trying to do in last 5 years after being back in India, after staying for nearly 15 years overseas. So as you can see, if your landfills is close to 18%. Those are your dump sites. It's close to 18% of things going into in the landfill is around 18% contribution towards the greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas, as you know, from the landfill, carbon dioxide, methane, and then they creates this climate change and all that, global warming, variations in temperature, weather extremes, water, food supply, malnutrition, diarrhea, human health impact, and all those things are related. So if you don't do proper waste management, that has so much of far-reaching impact in our society, in our environment. So this is the CPCB data, the last report that they have from 2015 on their website. This number would be much higher today, but whatever was produced, 70% was also collected. Only 70% was collected, and out of that only less than 30% was treated. So this number again has improved, but it's a long way to go. And some composting, biomethanation, RDF plants, and waste to energy plants. And these were, although it says 13, right now only 4 are working. So, and we have made several rules and regulations, which is starting from 1960, when the Ministry of Agriculture has started the composting of solid waste. That was the first rule which came out in 1960 all the way to 2018. There are several rules. We had Surat plague, which kind of raised a lot of awareness in terms of municipal solid waste. That led to municipal solid waste management rules in 2000. Then the rule was revised in 2016, and the name was changed from municipal solid waste to solid waste management, because it included other waste stream as well. Then we have the CPHU manual, which helps with the design. There's a national action plan. There is a national green tribunal, Swachh Bharat mission. So a lot of initiatives. So as today there is a lot of awareness about the waste management. The people are aware. People know that this is a problem. Yes, technical awareness, scientific awareness, economic awareness, because see, the solution may be great, but may not work economically. You can make all the compost, but if you cannot sell that compost, well, then you cannot subsidize these things forever. It has to be self-sustainable, or somehow the funding has to be there. Otherwise, the plant will be there. Say if you get a World Bank fund or a ADB fund or JICA project or this project, as soon as that project is over, the funding is not coming, the plant dies. We don't want that to happen. We want a sustainable long-term solution. So we have to think in that particular manner. So all these rules are there. The rules are sometimes, I think some of these rules are even much more stricter than the rules in other countries. We have tried to take a lot of stuff from these Western European countries, but as I said earlier, Western European countries working on this area for last 30 years. We have just started. So we cannot follow the rules of Western European countries today because we don't have that infrastructure. For rule to be implemented, there has to be infrastructure. If the infrastructure is not there, how the rules will be implemented? So making a hard rule, very tough rule, which cannot be implementable is, I find it to be not a scientific approach, because you need to get the infrastructure also in place so that the rules can be implemented. So then get rules gradually tighter and tighter. Don't make a very tight rule at the first place, and then you cannot really implement that. Or like if you do, people think that, oh, we have already not able to implement, then people lose interest there as well. So what is required for comprehensive integrated waste management planning process? What is the things which are required? You have to find, first thing is you have to identify the need. What type of waste is generated in what quantities? It is very, very important. Type of waste generated and the quantity of waste. Data, data, data. If you have bad data, that is worse than having no data. If you're working with bad data, that means your design is going to fail. If you think that you have this much of a degradable material, but actual waste which comes to your compost plant is much less. Why it will be less? Because say if I do the sampling at the house level and based my design, compost plant design based on the sampling done at the house level, my primary collection center is open. I have dogs, cows, all those things coming and eating those degradable material, and some will degrade because I'm not able to collect every day. I'm able to collect only the third day or fourth day. So part of it will also degrade. So the waste which will come to my compost plant, if it's mixed, that's a big problem. And the compostable material also has gone down. So if I calculate my economics based on what the waste was produced in the houses, and I'm trying to use that data to design my plant, I will have a lot of problem, a lot of economics problem. And I may over design the plant too. Unless we fix the collection system, you will not get the same garbage. You will have a lot of leakages along the way. So we need to make sure that what type of waste is generated and how the waste is changing as a function of collection system, from the houses to the primary collection to the secondary collection, and also when it comes to your dump site or to the compost plant or whatever treatment facility we have. And we have done that study for WISAC. And as a part of the smart city project, we did that for Visakhapatnam city in Andhra Pradesh, and we found a lot of variability there in terms of how the waste keeps on changing. Same thing happens with recyclables. You will have rack pickers and others take it away from there along the way as well. So you have to get realistic data. I keep on saying that getting this realistic data is very, very important in terms of waste generation, and how much waste and what is there in the waste. How much paper, how much plastic, how much those. That it may take some time. You may have to spend some money to do that. Plus, please do it, because then your chances of failure of plant will go down. If you don't do that, the chances of failure of plant actually goes up, because you are working on a guesstimate. And then you review the existing system, review the existing regulation, you look at the regulation, make a decision making framework, establish objective. What is the short term and long term plan for that your city in terms of managing this garbage? Identify potential components, look at your options, develop the plan, implement the plan, and evaluate the plan. So usually this planning is done for 25-30 years, but we have to revisit this plan every 5 years. When I was in Canada, I was part of this. They have this. They will have a city solid waste management committee, or they have a slightly different name. Exact name is not coming to my head. Basically, it's kind of a committee which look at cities solid waste management, and they get the local academic people also on the on that, so that they can give their input. Of course, the mayor will be the chair, and that professor or whoever is made co-chair. So I was the co-chair of City of Guelph, which is in outskirts of Toronto. Just if you go from Toronto in the southern side, it's there, close to Mississauga. And there we have we did this exercise. Like I was part of doing this exercise where we looked at the design for it, and then you will see that there are lots of things, lots of questions come when you implement it for 5 years. You look at after 5 years whether my things are working or not working, why it is not working, what I need to do it better. one thing we also have to do is have a systems approach, develop that system. It should not happen. What happens many times in India, like I have seen in last 5 years, once there is a transfer, say Mayor Sahab is transferred or the or the IS officer is transferred, the new IS officer loses totally interest on waste management and things kind of dies down. That we need to change, because see, it's a Patiala's it's a city of Patiala's project. It's not that particular person's project. And said similarly, it should be a state of Punjab's project or India government project. It's not person specific project. So that mindset also needs to change, and that is will help a lot in terms of doing this properly. So in what how we do it, like these are all domestic drain cleaning. You did get all this stuff. So this is an example. This is actually the pictures from Visakhapatnam, where they are doing. They are looking at. They have a disposal site which they are trying to do bioremediation. They have a composting unit, and they are trying to set up a waste to energy plant. They are also trying to set up a sanitary landfill. So, and we were helping them with this project. Waste to energy in India. If you look at, this is from 2018. Operational is 69.2 megawatt. Under construction is 84.3. Proposed is close to 400, 383. And non-functional is also almost same as what is operational. So we need to really understand what is going wrong here. Why they are non-functional. I don't want this number to go up, and up, because these are all our taxpayers' money. And it is our country's money. Why should we waste it? So that's the reason there is no one size fit all solution. Waste to energy may work for certain areas of the India, but may not work for other areas. Like in West Bengal, Kerala, in Northeast, where we have too much of rain, our garbage is still an open truck and a lot of moisture mixture. And if you have the mixed garbage, you have because what happens, the collection contract is based on tonnage. So the collection contractor has a habit of mixing bricks, concretes, and other stuff in between the garbage, because tonnage will go up, he will make more money. So it should not happen ethically, but we all know what does happen, what does not happen. So now you have all these stuff which is coming to the waste to energy plant. We have close to 40% of the garbage does not burn. So you have 40, you process 100 tons, you get 40 tons of residual. While if you are in Western European countries, the residual will be 15 to 20%. And with mix of all the garbage, your calorific value goes down. If the calorific values goes down, your waste to energy is no more profitable. So we have to look at what is really went wrong before we kind of implement all these 383. I would rather focus on first to find out what went wrong here, so that we don't make this problem. We don't make the same mistake. I'm not saying every technology works. We have to make it work. If and there is no one, like it's not that one technology will work for entire India. There is we have to look at techno-economic feasibility study. Look at the technology, look at your waste, try to understand your waste, and then from the waste you select the technology. So how will you do that? So of course, waste collection, wet and dry, separate, doing the wet and dry separate collection, and then wet and dry separate collection, storage as well as collection. A storage at the household level or the industry level, wherever, then you collect it also separately. Bring it to the treatment system separately. Have a transport system where wet and dry waste are not mixed. Vehicle routing will the shortest possible route. Vehicle routing for garbage is same as vehicle routing for Amazon or Flipkart and other places too. Like wherever you are talking about, it's the same linear programming, same route optimization, operation research problem. And then you look at this is a specialized area, many people work in this area. Then you choose the proper treatment technology. The wet waste can be composting, biomethanation. Mixed waste can be sent to a sorting location where you sort it out, and dry waste, again, material recycling facility. But they have to be collected separately. If you mix them together, you cannot really do much about it. And there are a lot of good things happening in the country, including probably we'll hear is from Patiala as well. So in terms of biodegradable, people are doing composting, people are doing biomethanation and these things at a local level, in a community level, at a city level, things are happening. These pictures are all from India. Same thing for recyclables also. There are things are happening in India in terms of recycling. Proper recycling centers are also operating. So just to recap, what you need to do in terms of having a proper waste to energy integrated waste management plan is to review, review the existing regulation, look at the system, find out what waste and how much waste. Organize framework, establish objective components, compare option, develop the plan, implement, and then also evaluate. And in all this process, education, public participation, outreach is very, very important. Educating the people, educating the municipal, like even the workers in the municipalities. Many times they have, while I was reviewing DPR for many cities in Eastern India, and I visited many of these ULBs in Eastern India. Many times the workers are burning the garbage on the side of the road. They are not really aware what are the ill effects, what are the health effects of burning those and inhaling those plastic burning. They are not aware, so they just do it. Thermocol burning, which is very, I saw that happening quite a bit. And when we talk to them in their language, it has to be in local language, and then doing big meeting in AC room is okay, but we have to get down in the field. We have to get down in the field and just talk with the people and try to make them feel important, that why their job is important. Their job is very, very important, and we have to make them realize that why their job is important, and we should get value to those. Dignity of labor is also required. So your education, public participation, and outreach, those are the key component. So everything like waste prevention, disposal, recycling, composting, waste to energy, everything is part of the pie, which together makes integrated solid waste management. So you get the population data first. You determine your waste quantity. How will you do that? You can do it, as I said, you can do it at a different level. You can do it at the house level. You can do it primary collection center, zone-wise, ward-wise. You have to do some exercise initially to really get the good data. And so samples needs to be collected. There is an international protocol. There is a ASTM method. There is a scientific method of doing representative sample. So here we have done all this sampling where we collected from the individual houses. We also collected from this primary collection and secondary collection points. And again, following the ASTM method. So the scientific method. Then also at the dump site, what reaches at the dump site. And getting all these samples, since waste is highly heterogeneous material, so we have to do it several days. You cannot just rely on one day, and several times, different seasons, different time of the year as well, to get a representative sample. And then you do what is known as quartering method. This quartering method helps you to get a representative sample from this highly heterogeneous water. So you get this highly heterogeneous waste. So you have you make different quarters, as you can see here, and then you kind of come up with this representative sample and take this sample to the lab where you do all these detailed analysis. Now, these detailed analysis are always compared. Say, if you look at, say, if I get sick, if I'm severely sick and I go to a doctor needs to do blood report, urine report, X-ray, CT scan, and all that, isn't it? Otherwise, if doctor cannot just write prescription without doing all that. There are very few doctors still around who can do that after just looking at your like pulse and all that. But there is a protocol. They will go through all those diagnoses, then they give you the prescription. That needs to happen in solid waste system too. These are the blood report and urine report. This volatile solid, ash content, elemental analysis, energy content. These are the blood report and urine report of that garbage. So that if I understand this well, I can write a proper prescription. I can write a proper DPR or whatever you want to call it, so that I can give proper selection of the technology. Because if I don't have proper energy content, if my moisture content is too high, there is no way waste to energy system will work. If you have you don't have enough biodegradable material at the compost plant, not at the houses level, because along the way it will disappear because of animals and other things. So then your compost will not be profitable. Your biomethanation plant will not be profitable. So all those things needs to look into very carefully. And you look at the component, what are the components out there? That's called waste audit, waste sorting procedure. Since this work we are doing for a research purpose as well, we have gone kind of a little bit crazy here. We have kind of looked at detailed components, but the green ones is your organic waste. The blue ones are the recyclables, and then household hazardous waste and non-recyclable, but the other things what we think is, so you don't have to do this detail, but at least do the green ones together, the blue ones together, and the household hazardous waste together, so that you will get a clear picture of what are the things available. So once you know what is their garbage, you know their physical, chemical, biological composition, then you make this decision in terms of whether should I go for compost, If you have carb, what is the carbon nitrogen ratio? What is the, how much is the lignin there? Because lignin will not degrade in anaerobic. We need to go for compost. In anaerobic, should we go for one stage, two stage? Is the gas important for me? Then I'll go for two stage. If the gas is not important for me, I'll go for one stage. But then when I go from one stage to two stage, the cost goes up. So again, I have to do this techno-economic analysis for that. Similarly here, incineration, gasification, pyrolysis, several technologies are out there and which do work because it is working in other places in the world. So they do work, but whether it will work with my waste. See, technology is not bad. It is the preparation to adapt to those technologies that is what is needed. So we have to look at that very, very carefully. Once we do this, this may require a rigorous exercise, but once you do that, then your plant, chances of failure of that plant goes very, 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 very low. So that's the reason why. In again, I would since we have a lot of international audience, but this will I'll say in Hindi. हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं कि जल्दी करो, जल्दबाजी मत करो. तो जल्दी करना है हमें, जल्दबाजी नहीं करना है. जल्दबाजी करेंगे तो फिर we'll be back to square one. We will again, if you do things in hasty way, we have to do things fast, but don't act in hasty way. Do it scientifically correct way, and then you will have less problem. And when you come up with solution, don't do problem shifting. Like here, we have this diesel car. This gentleman is driving diesel car. He feels so dirty because of all this smoke coming out. Now he bought an electric car. He's feeling so clean that I have made this electric car. I'm totally clean now. And but then when you look at emissions in the background, so what has happened? These road emissions are actually gone to this plant emissions because this car is getting charged with the coal-based thermal power plant. So we did not really solve the problem. And this electric car batteries requires a lot of rare earth metals. We don't have that much rare earth metals. We have to rely on China because China is the #1 producers of rare earth in the world. So we have to import from there. And this rare earth metals they are called rare because actually they are rare. The quantity is very less in Earth's crust. So mining activity of that material also requires a lot of energy, water, and all that. A lot of environmental footprint. So how to make this work? Electric car will work if we use too much of renewables. If you use coal-based thermal power plant, there is no point moving to electric car. It is the same. You will have the same problem. It's just problem gets shifted. That's it. So summary and take-home message, we have to look at the policy, we have to do the characterization protocol in a scientific way, do the waste treatment strategy, make a decision-making framework, look in the multi-criteria decision-making. Then you can also look at some of the sustainable indicators. Then you should do a performance statement too. Very quickly, Punjab, I think since we have friends from the Patiala Municipal Corporation, they will talk about it. So I just wanted to, Punjab, as the 8 clusters, National Green Tribunal appreciated the effort of Punjab in 2014 to make this Punjab MSW Management Master Plan. There are a lot of clusters. If you look at the Patiala, 20 acres of processing and sanitary landfill, 500 tons per day. I may be corrected. This is from some world publication which was available, and as in recent times, a lot of changes have happened. Waste generation in Punjab last 4,000, close to 4,500 tons per day, and quite a lot of it gets collected. So collection is pretty good, but treatment again we need to improve on a lot of treatment here. And there are some, as per solid waste management rules, these are the different ULBs, good practices, house-to-house collections, segregation, and all that has been mentioned. And covered transportation, as we are talking about, that's very, very important. And 2019, they had a lot of, recently there was a policy shift for decentralization of processing facilities, but Department of Local Bodies to the 1550 wet waste processing facilities were set up. So that's why you see a huge, other things remains the same. As with waste to energy, 1 was installed, but not operational. Probably the reason was similar to what I just talked about. There were some issues in terms of in Patiala recently, and this is a couple of years back. Then there was some all the other issues there too. Then recently there was this biomining came, which their garbage dumping site will go. That's what they talk about. But we have to look at like what they are going to do with those material which they are going to recover. It's many times what we think that, oh, I have given it to the private company, now it is their headache. It's actually not their headache. After in a roundabout way, it will become your headache later on, because what they will do with this garbage, they will just throw it maybe in Patiala area or maybe it's outside of the Patiala area, but then it becomes headache of somebody else. So it becomes a problem shifting, not problem solving. So we have to solve the problem, not make problem go from one place to another place. So there is a new proposal for solid waste management in terms of there is a DPR with a compost plant, RDF, sanitary landfill and all. Main plant will be near Mohali, RDF, SLF will be set up in Patiala. So in terms of this Swachhta ranking, Punjab was number 5. Patiala was ranked 2 in the state out of 14. Nationally, it was 86. Then there is the issue of this stubble burning, which we always, every summer, every winter, we get this issue of stubble burning, paddy straw burning. So we were looking at this in our lab in terms of what can be done with this agricultural residue. So, and also with the organic fraction of municipal solid waste. See, this organic fraction of municipal solid waste has a lot of moisture. They don't work very well in this waste to energy plants, in the mixed garbage, especially if you have mixed garbage. So we worked on this hydrothermal carbonization where we produce this hydrochar, which is a fuel and can be converted to fuel pellets and other application. This fuel has similar calorific value as lignite. So you can use it as fuel, you can use it as substitute for carbon black, activated carbon, adsorbent energy storage, and also we are looking at some industrial partner. In fact, the talks are going on with some industrial partner where we set up a demonstration plant somewhere to demonstrate this particular technology. So this was this was in the news. These papers came out, and then it was news pretty much 17, 18 newspapers covered it throughout India. So we had work on like a lot of coverage. And so this is what we are working on right now on in our lab, just for the interest of other people who might be interested. So if you can talk to us if you are interested in any of these areas. So we're working with kitchen waste, food waste, agricultural waste, and trying to come up with several value-added products. So biogas, biocoke, water treatment, biomethane, biofertilizers, and some biomedical application, bioplastics, so a lot of value-added products. So resource recovery. So in fact, we call our lab as resource recovery and circular solutions lab. So looking at circular economy and resource recovery. So and training is very, very important. So probably some of you may have seen this course. We have been offering this online MOOC course on waste management from IIT Kharagpur since 2017. Sorry, I came back in India 2015. Then took me almost a year to develop this online course. A lot of effort went to develop this course because we have to do other jobs too. So, and this is being offered since 2017. So this is the 4th offering, and more than 40,000 students have taken this course, mostly from India, some from abroad. And so this year also it is running, next year also it will run. So because it's there in the permanent feature. So if you're interested to learn more about waste management, you are more than welcome. All these course videos are available on YouTube. Then we have courses on other basic environmental engineering, sustainable engineering, life cycle concept, plastic waste management, as mentioned during the inauguration, also electronic waste management. So a lot of courses are available. And again, that was done to help people realize what the importance, complexity, and the scientific way of managing waste. So I may have taken a little bit more time that was given to me. I'm sorry for that. But because when I start talking, it becomes difficult for me to control. That's a problem of professors, isn't it? So anyway, thank you. And I'll stop sharing. If there is any question, I'll be more than happy to take it.
That was a very elaborative, knowledgeable, and eye-opening lecture by Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I congratulate you for such a nice talk and work you are doing, right? Planet Earth has given us so many things to enjoy, but as we human, what we are giving back is all kind of air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, marine pollution, and solid waste pollution. Yesterday, sir, I have read a Facebook post that planet does not need more successful people. The planet desperately needs more peacemaker, healers, restorer, storytellers, and lovers of all kinds. So who can wisely use the technology before us. So now for the information of all the participants, I want to tell you that we have 2 brief guest lectures. and we'll take the question answer session after that. So for the first speech, we have with us Shri Lal Vishwas, who is Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation Patiala. He is a PCS officer of 2016 batch. Today, he will be talking on the overview of Swachh Bharat Mission. Over to you, sir. Shri Lal Vishwas. Shri Lal Vishwas. Hello. There is some technical issue. Sorry for that.
Sir, kindly unmute.
Hello.
Okay, sir. हो गया जी, हो गया.
Hanji, Hanji. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry that the mic was muted by the admin. So I would firstly introduce myself. I'm Lal Vishwas. I'm Joint Commissioner here at Municipal Corporation Patiala. I'm a 2016 PCS officer. And for the last 1 year, I am handling the Swachh Bharat Mission, part of the operations of Municipal Corporation Patiala here in the city. So basically, I would keep my presentation very brief and very informal. Like most of you must be knowing that Swachh Bharat Mission, it was kickstarted in year 2014. And in the span of last 5 years, there has been perceptible progress with regard to Swachhata or cleanliness all across the country, especially Punjab. Punjab has ranked 5th in the last survey, Swachh Sarvekshan 2020. So it is safe to say that the state is among the leading front runners in the country. And from within the state, Patiala was ranked as the second cleanest city in its category, that is cities having population more than 1 lakh. So with regard to the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, I would like to share a bird's eye view of what has happened, what has precipitated on ground in the last 5 years. Basically, it consists of 6 different categories or 6 different components, which are further, clubbed into two major, we can say, divisions. The first is ODF, open defecation free. So in the open defecation free part of the project, we are stressing on we are adopting a 3-pronged strategy. Firstly, we are building individual household latrines, the count of which is around 2 crores in the last 5 years all across the country. And in Patiala, in the same duration, we have come up with nearly 1,100 individual latrines that in various households which were not provided with this facility earlier. The second is public toilets. The total count is 9 crore across the country for the last 5 years. And in Patiala, we have built 84 new toilets in the last year, and accumulated count is it's around 200. So community toilets, these are the toilets which are used in bastis. These are makeshift toilets. And Patiala, we have a set of 5 of them. And the second part is basically with regard to this solid waste management, which includes processing of wet waste and dry waste. And for that, MRF centers are MRF centers and pits. They have been constructed in the city. MRF centers are basically huge halls with different compartments for different type of waste. So we have set up 6 MRF centers which are owned by Municipal Corporation Patiala, and there is one MRF center which is owned by DCW, that is Diesel Component Works, which is a central undertaking body based here in Patiala. So in total, we have 7 emerald centers where we shift our dry waste and it is stored over there, which is eventually sold by the waste management company that we have hired for the process. And with regard to compost pits, we have around 535 pits, majority of which are owned by Municipal Corporation Patiala, but then we have also cajoled to other offices and other institutions, both public and private, to set up pits of their own for processing of green waste. So in totality, we have 555 pits, which are which is a pretty good number in context of the size of the city and the population that is inhabited by the city. Second component of solid waste management is the IEC activities. Of course, we are trying to disseminate this information, disseminate this message to the public masses that they have to pitch in, remain in itself, that if we think that the government itself or the municipal corporation itself is capable of pushing the things on its own, then it will be a bit hard not to crack. We need people's participation, and with efforts of certain outsourced professionals and experts that we have hired or the government has made available to us, we have been able to dispense information and awareness to general public that they have to contribute to the fight against the waste that we are fighting. And I won't say that the results have been they have been extraordinary. I won't say that like that, but certainly there has been an impact, because what I feel like is that it takes a hell lot of effort to cajole general public to break their stereotype behavior with regard to waste management. I won't hesitate to be frank with all of you when I say that there is a huge section of population which feel that that littering waste and throwing garbage around, it is the public is entitled to do that, and it is the duty of the corporation alone to collect the same and to process the same. Now with the advent of solid waste management rules 2016, the general public has been held directly responsible, or the waste generator has been held directly responsible for the management of the waste, but that message has not percolated to the general public as of now. We are trying our bit, but still I feel it is a Herculean task, and it really calls for more intensified effort and more efforts to reach out to people and to bring about behavioral changes in them. And the third component of solid waste management is like increasing the workforce. Like of course we Safai Karamcharis, we have around I think 900 people who are working towards this cause. But then there is a huge army of informal waste pickers also working in the interiors of the city, in different pockets of the city. Of course, I mean, they come in handy. They belong to the informal sector, but they are doing the same work that we are doing. And but they are not that. I would say their approach is very much different from that of our staff. So they deal with the garbage. They do deal with the garbage, but their intent is only to collect that garbage, which they can resell and make some money out of it. The rest of the garbage they are prone to not to attend to the same. So there are certain issues, and we are trying to rope in all these waste speakers, have some sort of arrangement with them that they can work on our not on our roads, but work alongside us. But there are a lot of things that I would like to. If I go into the details, it will take a lot of time. So I mean, there are certain things at the end of waste pickers, which are really very hard for us to solve. So, but still we are trying, and we hope so that, in times to come and with fullness of time, we'll be able to assimilate their efforts and align their efforts with us. So hopefully things are turning better than before, and that is manifested in the rank that the city has achieved in the last edition of Search Survection, as it was mentioned earlier in the presentation, that the Patiala has ranked second in the whole of the state and 86 in the entire country. And we have augmented the infrastructure substantially in the last year. Like I have mentioned earlier, 6 MRF centers have been constructed. Around 300 pits they have been constructed last year. We have provided for semi-underground bins, which are the first in the state. And the semi-underground bins concept is like, there are certain points which are more prone to littering. People, have a tendency to dump their waste over there. So what we have done over there, we have identified such points. We have roped in a company that is an expertise in this field, and we have created those that infrastructure where, a bin, a part of which is it is sunk into the ground, and the upper part, it can be lifted with the with a sort of a mini crane. So earlier what we used to observe is that, the dustbins which were placed in open, they were prone to theft, they were prone to breakage. But these underground bins, they are metallic in composition, so it is very hard to take them away or hard to damage them. So they have come in really very handy for the corporation to attend to those particular locations and those particular points where littering was very much prevalent earlier. And and in addition, we have provided for around 250 twin bins in the city. Patiala is, I would say, it is a mid-sized city, not a very big one, not a very small one, but for the size of Patiala, 250 twin bins. Twin bins is basically a structure where two bins, they are hung side by side. One is for the green waste and the other is for the dry waste. And we are installing these bins in public areas and commercial areas where the generation of waste, it is on the higher side as far as quantum is concerned. So in addition to that, we have come up with a bioremediation plant. It was mentioned in the previous presentation that the bioremediation plant has been set up here in Patiala, which will work towards the remediation of 55 years old garbage dump that is existing in the city for so many years. It was mentioned by Dubey Saab that the garbage that will be lifted from this dump, it will find its place somewhere else in the city. I would like to differ with Dubey Saab with regard to the same. Actually, the thing is that the remediation plant is it has been designed in such a way that there two type of waste will be extracted from that dump. The solid waste, for which they have already set up a sort of buyback arrangement with certain companies outside. So whatever the solid waste will emerge out of there, the dry waste, or the waste which is of plastic or metallic make, for that there is an arrangement with the buyer at the end of the contractor whom we have roped in for the purpose. And for that fine silt, we have got certain contractors over here within our corporation. They have stated that they will pick up that particular soil type of thing, and then it can be put into use. So basically, this is what we are doing, and I feel that in the last 1 year we have been able to reform the whole system of waste management in Patiala. And as time progresses, I hope that we will be able to build upon what we have done so far. Of course, there are certain challenges of a workforce. It is not it has its own way of working, and uh, of course we do try to motivate them, we do try to train them, but there are certain issues with the workforce which have been working with a particular way of working for the last 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So that is the challenge. It is very hard to change the way and to make them learn new things, but with the passage of time, the new guys that are coming into the ranks of Safai Karamcharis, they are much more motivated and much more efficient in handling waste in comparison to those the older component of our staff. Secondly, I think the mechanization of operations of waste management, that is the need of the hour. So far, mechanization was a distant dream for many corporations, but with the coming of Swachh Bharat mission, of course, there has been very generous funding by the government, and we are bringing in certain machines, and we are bringing in automated vehicles and all that stuff that is really helping us level of functioning. Behavioral aspects of general public, I have discussed it earlier. It is very hard to bring about a shift in the mind of people with regard to waste management. As I told earlier, people think that they have a right to litter, they have a right to produce garbage, and you throw it around, and they feel that if there is litter around, if there is garbage around, only the corporation and its Safai Karamcharis are to be blamed. But we are trying to bring it home to them that the one who generates the waste is the one who will manage the scene. This is what Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 say, and we hope so that with the passage of time, we will be able to, about the responsibility at their end. It's a long drawn battle. It's a long journey to go, but with constant information and education and communication, I hope so that we will be able to bring a perceptible shift in the way people treat garbage, people think of garbage. Enforcement issues, certainly there is a problem. A lot of sometimes it does happen that politically certain things like when we try to initiate something, and there are certain pulls and pressures. So I mean, that is known to everyone. Those are certain issues, but I feel that whenever the time of any idea comes and there is no stopping to it, and a lot of buzz has been created in the last 5 years regarding Swachh Bharat mission, and now people are realizing, all the authorities are realizing, the Safai Karamcharis are realizing that the time has come then when we have to address this issue with a fresh way of looking at the things. So this was from my side. If anybody has any questions, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us that what Municipal Corporation Patiala is doing under Swachh Bharat mission. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Hina Sachdeva, Organizing Secretary, for the further proceedings.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. Now, I am delighted to introduce today's next guest speaker, Mr. Dilip Kumar, Executive Engineer, MC Patiala. He is MSc in Horticulture from Khalsa College, Amritsar. His nature of job is development and maintenance of public parks, green belts, and roundabouts. He was honored by Chief Minister of Punjab for his work and contribution in solid waste management. He has done many beautification projects in the Patiala. He has initiated the idea of developing green belts from waste material. He is also member of various development committees. He is working in local government body for last 22 years. In today's lecture, he will be talking on horticulture waste management. Over to you, sir, Mr. Dilip Kumarji.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all. Myself, Dilip Kumar, Executive Engineer, Horticulture. First of all, I would like to congrats to Principal Multanimal Modi College and his team who organized such a wonderful webinar on solid waste management. Being a horticulturist or being a horticulture engineer, I would like to share my experiences on waste management, on horticulture waste management, that how we are managing the horticulture waste in the city.
Doctor?
Green waste comprises an important constituent of municipal solid waste. As a common practice, burning of this waste is one of the most convenient and conventional way to get rid of fallen leaves, which leads to the hazardous impact in the environment. Without knowing about the consequence on environment and moisture content available in the leaves, it tends to burn slowly and thus generate large amount of airborne particulates, that is fine bits of dust, soots and other solid materials. These particulates can reach deep into the lungs tissues and cause coughing, wheezing and chest pain, shortness of breath, shortness of breath, and sometimes long-term respiratory problems. Generally, it has been observed that compost of leaves is beneficial to the atmosphere as well as for the human beings in the form of monetary gain. They can be fruitfully useful to make garden compost. Compost made out of horticulture waste is the most eco-friendly alternative to burning. The need of the hour is to educate individuals from all walk of life to opt for composting under all circumstances, thereby using the end produce as fertilizer. The trees usually shed their leaves as a natural process. Generally, these are decomposed, but in urban areas, tree waste is collected and transported to the dump site. In addition, grass cuttings and hedge trimming, flower cutting, pruning of trees, trunk and branches, plant parts, etc. are also generated all around the year. Biomass waste, particularly dry waste, are generated in the urban area, especially in parks, green belts, institutions on roads, etc. Voluminous amount of around the year. Since natural process of degradation of fallen leaves is a time-consuming phenomena and challenging, especially in urban setting where majority of soil is capping with concrete. The disposal of this precious resource for making compost is generally done through burning, which just add to the air pollution. So biomass waste burning is banned under the Environmental Protection Act, and the government proposed composting of leaves as a most eco-friendly alternative to burning. Still, people adopt an easy way out, that is burning. The city of Patiala constitutes a total of 112 green parks, large range of educational institute, namely Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Government College of Physical Education, Punjabi University Patiala, Government College of Girls, Government Mahindra College, Multanimal Modi College. I thanks to Multanimal Modi College who are managing in a decent manners managing horticulture waste in a very decent manners way. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Institute of Sports, along with several offices of government department that have planted different varieties of trees inside their respective campus and generates tremendous amounts of green waste. Today I speak on composting of horticulture waste. Generally dry leaves composting, uh, uh, windrows composting is a process of production of compost by piling organic matter or biodegradable waste such a manner of such a animal manure and crop residue in long rows, and this method is suited to producing large volume of compost, and these rows are generally turned into improve porosity and oxygen contents mix or improve moisture and redistribute cooler and hotter portion of the piles. And composting process control parameter includes the initial ratio of carbon and nitrogen rich material. The amount of bulking agent added assure air porosity and pile size, moisture content and turning frequently. For instance, we considered the park's waste estimate of 100 kg of leaf, grass, branches of trees, flower plants and other residues shared and pile up for the making windrows in any corner of the parks, adding thick solution of 10 kg of cow dung mixing with water, keep aside 2 months with the mentioned moisture up to 60 to 70%. It generally left with the 30 to 40 kg of ready compost. We can take benefit of horticulture waste composting. The management of voluminous horticulture waste is scientifically and systematically accomplished. Number second, the out product provide nutrient-rich compost that help in quick growth of plant and organic crops. Next, the case of burning of leaves in the parks is reduced. Monetary gain to the administration in case of sale of compost or by the way or using in parks, etc. Environmental environmental and financial cost on amount and transportation is zero. In municipal corporation, near about 5 ton of horticulture is generated in every day. From 112 municipal parks, 10 green belts falling in the jurisdiction of Municipal Corporation Patiala, and estimate 5 ton horticulture waste including dry leaves, fallen leaves, flowers, branches and other residues are collected every day. A tractor operator static shredder machine has been installed at the facility which shred the entire horticulture waste. We are managing the horticulture waste in three steps in horticulture waste composting. First step in pruning of pruning process is a horticulture practice that involves selective removal of certain parts of a plant such as branches, buds, roots. Prune and reason to prune include dead wood, removal of shaping, the controlling the improving of sustained health, reducing risk of falling branches, and both harvesting and increasing the yield of quality of flowers of fruit. The practice entails removal of diseased and damaged dead and non-producer structurally unsound and otherwise unwanted tissue from the crop landscape plant. In general, smaller the branches that cuts the easier for woody plants to thus limit of potential pathogens. Therefore, preferably to make any necessary formative and structural pruning cuts to young plants rather than removing large, poorly placed branch from manure plants. Especially pruning practices may be applied to certain plants such as roses, fruit plant, grapevine. Important when pruning that the tree's limbs are kept intact as this, but help the trees stay upright. Different pruning techniques may be deployed on herbaceous plants that those used to perennials, woody plants, hedge and by design usually maintain the hedge trimming rather than by pruning the leaf the leftover horticulture waste is therefore collected and shifted to the composting yard. Next, collection of horticulture including fallen leaves done through manual sweeping of dry leaves or grasses at various sites in the city. After loading the collected waste in tractor trolley, Tata Ace, it is then transported to the centralized site at Model Town main park of the purpose of shredding. The next, shredders are designed to support material reduction across the range of recycling application of including plastic recycle, scrap material waste recycle, wood recycle, and tire shredding. It aims at reducing the volume of waste, turning into the useful resource from the garden. After collected horticulture waste is segregated and shredding done. Therefore, to quicken the composting process, the entire produce makes the more effective, economic, and efficient. The shredded material are piled up and set in windrows with base 4 feet and 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet, and the height 5 feet. By keeping gap between two windrows, a facilitate to further operating like adding of moisture, cow dung, enhance the composting process. The windrows are mixed with thick cow dung solution and kept aside for 2 months and letting to retain the moisture 60 to 70%. After 15 to 20 days, waste mixture is turned and upside down and for better result. Cow dung facilitate to heat the pile and quickly and break the dry material down with ease. Then next step is after decomposition, sieving is done. The sifting a large lump from soil which leaves with the fine compost material is also make very easy to slide compositors back for it goes straight into the wheelbarrow. And this is our the process of composting. And in the last, compost is weighed and packed in the tight bag and various size of 5 bags in 5 kg and 10 kg, and we are selling the compost or selling the compost. And this is our complete step or that how we are managing the horticulture waste. In the end, I would like thanks to all team member and especially to principal of Modi College. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for talking on your topic, horticultural waste management. It will be helpful in maintaining our garden waste. So before proceeding to the question answer session, I would like to share with you the initiatives taken by Multani Mal Modi College under solid waste management and water conservation. There are few slides I would like to share with you all. Thank you. Now the session is open for discussion. I would like to request Dr. Dubey ji to kindly address the queries. First query is, what is the safest way to treat mining waste so that the water, air and soil will not be contaminated? An unsafe level of mercury has been detected in plants in the community And I believe if humans and animals will be tested, many chemicals will be found in their system.
Yeah, so in terms of mining waste, say for any waste, as I was trying to talk about in my lecture as well, first you need to know what is there in the waste. Unless you know what is there in the waste, you cannot tell the solution. So mining waste, if you're talking about metallic mines, you may have traces of, say, some heavy metals, lead, arsenic, and because what happens if you look at the like when you go for mines, if you're looking for aluminum, for example, aluminum, we just don't go and get the aluminum. Aluminum is in a mineral, and that mineral has several other heavy metals associated with that. We take aluminum away and we just dumped others because their concentrations are very low for having a economically feasible extraction process. But the concentration may be high enough to do some environmental harm. So once you know what kind of things are there, if it's heavy metals, we work on the principle of there are different types of remediation system, treatment system. We can do physical, chemical, biological. We work on the principle of solubility products sometimes to remove, because certain, for example, barium or lead in anaerobic condition with lead sulfide, it will precipitate out. So it depends on what kind of materials what kind of metals you need to remove. Similarly, if you're looking at coal mines, the situation is different. And if you're talking about mercury, mercury can be there in does show up in coal mines too. There are issues of mercury emissions from mines. You are correct when you're saying that yes, if you test out the blood sample, urine sample, or the plant samples from contaminated area, we will find those contamination. It has already been documented. So it's not a one size fit all. Once you have the problem, we need to study the problem, what kind of contamination we are looking at, and there are treatment technologies available, and which is in today's world of Professor Google, you can always once you know what you're looking for, you can find, but you have to know what you are looking for. So that's what I would like to say on that.
So next query is why state governments are not strictly adhering to the ban of plastic bags? Share your views.
See, passing a ban order is easy. Implementation will only happen when there is an alternative. If the alternative is not there, say plastic, other than single-use plastic, single-use plastics are problematic. I totally understand. But plastic, we are using plastic in several, like today, all this talk which is happening through these computers, laptops, and other things, there are a lot of plastics there as well. So plastic as a material has done a lot of good stuff for us. There are a lot of products which we are using today would not have been possible if plastic was not around. The problem comes especially with single-use plastic, and when we just discard that plastic, we don't do the plastic waste management properly. So that plastic waste is a problem. Plastic as a material is not a problem. Now, one can argue that plastic waste is coming because of that material. I agree, but it is because of our behavior, isn't it? We are not behaving responsibly. We are not managing that waste responsibly. We're getting so much used to using those single-use stuff. So government can ban, but that ban has to be, government cannot have that, police cannot go around with a stick around and then just they can only put some fines. And during sometimes, like for example, during this COVID crisis, there is some relaxation on those implementation of certain bans too. So it's one thing. What we need to do is we need to come up with alternative to this single-use plastic, especially single-use plastic. We were using steel earlier, steel utensils, steel forks and knives, and all those cutlery sets. We were using China stuff, those ceramic stuff. So we have to go back and use those. They are a bit cumbersome to use, but they are environmental friendly because they don't go and choke the drains and other stuff. So that's why, and as we were hearing from municipal authority that expecting everything for government to do is also not proper. Like we are part of the government too. Like it's not that we versus us, like you versus me kind of thing. We versus you. It has to be that cumulative effort. So if we want to implement that, government has passed a rule. So if we can implement it, if you go to a shop and that person is not giving you plastic bag, you don't get upset on him. So then it will be implemented.
Next query is, can we say that recycling treatment plants are 100% green and safe for the environment?
Recycling, you mean the recycling plant? I think they're talking about material recycling facility. So usually when we say recycling plant, we don't call it a treatment plant. Treatment plant is composting, anaerobic digestion, waste to energy. Those are the treatment plants. And recycling is a material recycling facility. They are, of course, they are good. We should recycle. As I showed you the World Bank report that paper, plastic, glass, metals, each individually, each of those components, if kept clean, if they are not dirty, they can be recycled. There are certain materials which cannot be recycled. So recycling process also has to happen in a scientific way. We don't want the recycling or resource recovery that is happening, say for example, electronic waste. You go outskirts of Delhi, outskirts of any big city in India, including I've seen that in Lagos, Nigeria, and I've seen that in Accra, Ghana. So for other places in the world. So if wherever there is an informal recyclers where they are not following the environmental they don't have to follow those environmental rules, so they just use aquaresia, try to get those precious metal out, and in the process they are creating a lot of environmental pollution. So that recycling will create that recycling I cannot call that recycling as environmental friendly. But if you do it properly, yes, it is environmental friendly and it should be done. Most of the material could be recycled. There are some materials out there which, for example, today styrofoam, some places they are able to do it. Multi-layered plastic, very difficult to recycle. So, but then they can go to a waste to energy plant and we can do resource recovery from there on that.
Next query is, EcoSans have future prospects, that is dry human excreta compost in India. What is their scope in India?
I don't work that much in that sanitation sector, so I don't I know about them. But since I'm, as I said, I'm essentially a garbologist, that too also solid waste, not that much in the liquid waste side. So if somebody from the Patiala municipality wants to chime in there and talk about that as part of Swachh Bharat mission, because that was one of the major area. But I have seen there. I've read about it. I've seen that. If it's done properly, it has option like you can do. You can recover resources from there as well. I will only say that on that. Yeah.
So next query is, how to manage solid waste management in rural area. In rural area, there is no management of solid waste.
So in rural area, again, you have to have this because in rural area, traditionally we have the thought process is that in rural area it is mostly organic waste. In recent times, the difference between rural and urban has kind of gone down. Now Amazon, Flipkart and all those, Mantra and all those goes to rural areas too. So they are also getting lots of plastics and other waste generated. If it's predominantly composting, predominantly biodegradable waste, you can go for compost. You can make with the gobar gas, you can make your food waste, and you have the if it's a food waste, you have your cattle, you can take care of those. There's the dry material, the plastics and other dry material, they are creating problem. So again, like we are doing in the city, we have to collect this waste separately, and probably one particular village may not have sufficient waste to have a economically viable plant. So in combination of 5, 10, 20 villages, we have to come up with a cluster and set up a plant where these can be recycled and sold for the recycling market. As long as it is collected clean and sort segregated, there is market out there.
So next query is, what is the status of E&W Medinipur solid waste management?
Probably he's talking about East and West Medinipur district.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so there we have like I live in West Medinipur district, and there is the next district is East Medinipur. So there are again this is also we have some dump sites here, and we also have in Kharagpur town where I live, there is a plan. We do have a engineered landfill under construction, and also there is they're calling it a composting plant. But source segregation, as I said earlier, source segregation is also a problem. Here things gets mixed up. In the campus, within campus, we are being able to do, because things are more in our control. So we have been able to do some things better. We have an anaerobic digestion plant within campus where we are taking food waste from the student hostels and producing biogas, and we are using that biogas directly back into the hostel kitchen. So it is getting fed back into the hostel kitchen for use as a kind of replacing few LPG cylinders. And we also had a compost plant which is working in our campus. And there is no waste to energy plant as of today. That's what, as far as I know. And Kalaikunda base we have an Air Force station nearby, and they have also doing composting and those kind of stuff.
So next query is, what as a responsible citizen we can do to control the solid waste pollution?
Follow the rules, as our friend from Patiala municipality was saying, that see, government can do this solid waste management rules 2016 has different stakeholders, and we as an individual is also a stakeholder. So if we don't follow the rule that the government has proposed for us, and the government is selected by us, isn't it? It's our representative. Basically, it's our rule. So if you don't follow the rule and then you expect that only the others will follow, that's a problem. So number one thing we need to do is to start following the rule. So follow the rule. Help your ward commissioner. Help you if the things are not working. Pressurize your ward commissioner that why it is not working. So you have to be a bit responsible citizen and ask questions and ask answers if things are not working properly in your area, why it is not working as per rules. And another thing is that rule also requires us to pay the user fee. Very few ULBs in the country is able to get that user fee. If you talk to ULB people, they will say that there are very few ULBs where they are able to get that user fee. People think that, oh, we have paid taxes, why we should pay another fee for solid waste management. Same person, we are talking for people mostly in Punjab. I will say the same people, when they go to Canada, they will do that, but they will not do it here. So it's and then they will say that, oh, in Canada it's so nice and clean, everything is so perfect. Everything costs money. So if we have to pay for the service, of course we should demand that where that money is being used, money should be used properly. That we as a citizen, we have the right to demand, but we have to follow the rules. We are also as important stakeholders. Give source segregated garbage to the garbage collector. If it mix it up, ask him why you are mixing it up, how my compost plant will work. It is not city's compost plant, it is my compost plant. That feeling has to come, which is there in many other countries. That everything is like, I own that. If I'm resident of that city, it's from my money it is that compost plant is being built. It's from my money that waste to energy is being built. And it's true. It's our money only. So that sense of belonging has to be developed so that people start asking good questions, and then we have to behave like a responsible citizen. We don't do that.
College, Madam Shailendra ji, to propose a vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Dr. Brajesh Kumar Dubey, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. Shri Lal Vishwas, Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala. Shri Dilip Kumar, Executive Engineer, Horticulture, Municipal Corporation, Patiala. Our valued guests who have joined us from overseas and all over India. Principal Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, colleagues and dear students, good afternoon to all. It is my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Abhikesh Gupta, Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala, for gracing this occasion. In his inaugural address, Mr. Gupta rightly stressed that solid waste management can be successful only with the active participation of all people. He also highlighted the work done by the Municipal Corporation Patiala in this field and talked of developing the culture of cleanliness and making Patiala a clean, green, and dream city. I thank you, sir, again for sparing your valuable time for us. I would also like to thank Madam Poonam Deep, IAS Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala in absentia. Madam Poonam Deep has always been very encouraging and supportive of all the efforts undertaken by Modi College for solid waste management. We solicit her guidance and support for our future endeavors for solid waste management. My sincere thanks to Dr. Brijesh Kumar Dubey, Associate Professor, IIT Kharagpur, for delivering the keynote address, How to Select Proper Treatment Technology for Waste Management Infrastructure. Dr. Dubey dwelt on the topic in a very lucid manner. No doubt the volume of solid waste in the world is alarming, but 80% of waste can be recycled. So the baseline is that segregation of waste is extremely important. Dr. Dubey talked extensively about solid waste and its management, and also about the issue of stubble burning. Thank you, sir, for your very informative and enlightening talk and for answering all our queries. I express my gratitude to Shri Lal Vishwas, Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Patiala, and Shri Dilip Kumar for their talk on overview of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and horticulture waste management. In fact, Mr. Dilip Kumar has been very instrumental in setting up different waste management units in the college with his technical know-how and visits to the college from time to time. I am extremely beholden to our esteemed principal, Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, who envisioned and initiated the setting up of the waste management units in the college. It is because of the untiring, concerted efforts of our principal that we have a campus which is clean and free of waterlogging. My deepest gratitude to our valued guests who have joined us from over 15 countries across the world and 21 Indian states. We are indeed honored to have you amongst us. Thank you all for your participation. I also thank Dr. Ashwani Kumar, Dr. Manish Sharma, and Dr. Hena Sachdeva, who are doing commendable work in this field in Modi College. It is because of their sincere efforts and hard work that the college was awarded an appreciation certificate by the Municipal Corporation, Patiala. My thanks to Dr. Rohit Sachdeva for providing technical support. Finally, I thank all my colleagues and students who joined this webinar. Thank you all once again.
Ashwin sir, कोई query तो नहीं? Can we close the meeting now? ठीक है, ठीक है. It's the end of the day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vijay sir. Okay. Have a nice day, sir.